Here is a Powermatic 14CS, and as you can see, the blade is not in the center of the guide. We're going to show you how to align the blade properly inside of the bandsaw. Here we are. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the blower out of the way to where we can get to the bearings. We're going to raise the blade guide so it's out of the way, and then we're going to pop the table insert out. Okay, and then remove the table tension pin. The next thing that we do is we remove the table trunnion locking knobs. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to lift the table up and we're going to turn it in a manner to where it comes out the turn it, and then the blade will come right there. Now we have the table off. This is just going to make it a lot easier to work on. Is that these bearings, the upper and the lower, are adjusted too far to the right. It's putting unneeded tension on the blade, and then in addition it's causing it not to ride in the center of our blade guide. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust these. We're going to adjust these to the center position so that we get a good ride on the bearing. Powermatic bandsaw, the bearings that are included with the saw are eccentric. What this means is that they work as a cam to move the blade either to the left or the right. So we're going to show you how to adjust that. First thing you do is you unlock the cam lock, okay, and that takes the tension to where you can turn them. And then you take the Allen wrench and you insert it into the end of the bearing, and as you turn it you can see that they go in or out. This is how you're going to center your blade. So what we're going to do is we're going to relieve the tension off of there altogether. Go ahead and do it on the bottom side too. And right now the blade is not touching the bearings at all. And now we're going to bring the bearings to the blade. And what this is going to do, there you go. We're just going to get it just tight enough to where it just barely touches, and then we lock it back. We're going to do the same thing on the bottom bearing housing. So we're going to bring it in just till it touches on both sides. See, we need to adjust the left a little bit there. And see, we're just touching there. And then we're going to lock that one down. Now you should be perfectly centered. Now what we're going to do at this point is align the rear blade guide, both the top and the bottom. Right now he's looking at the bottom there, and here's the top. You can just barely see it from this angle. So we untighten the retaining pin, and what we're going to do is we're going to spin the blade a little bit to where it, and then adjust the bearing back so that the blade rides into its natural position. You spin it a few times and you'll notice that the bearing will stop. You may need to adjust the bottom some more, and you'll see the blade is moving back. And then what we're going to do at this point right now that the blade's riding in its natural position, you can see the bearing's not moving, we're going to move those bearings up till they just touch, because what you want to do is get a little back tension on the blade. They're just moving. If you get it too tight, it's okay to back it off a little bit. You might have, there you go, right there, and then we'll tighten that up. So that's in its natural position. Now the next step that we're going to do is these side bearings, they need to be adjusted in or out to where they're about 2/3 covering the blade. Yeah, there you go. You don't want to get it to where they're hitting the tooth, because then you're going to wear into your bearing. So you definitely want to make sure you're far enough back to where you're away from the tooth. And then you lock those down. Now whenever you put your fence back on, you should be centered, everything's set up. Okay, now we've managed to put the table back on. So the first thing we want to do is we want to put the stabilizer pin back in. That keeps your table from flexing or moving as you're sawing. We put the guide back in. As you can see, we are in the center now. Lower the blade guard to a height so suit your needs for whatever thickness material you're cutting, and put the blower back in position. And there you have it, a properly aligned blade guide system.